All right, what's going on, everybody? We are in episode 3, and I am here with, I call her my auntie. She has been such a spiritual guide for me in my acting career.
Mm.
Miss Wendy Alane Wright. I can give you 1,000 adjectives to describe how wonderful of a person she is, but just know that she has a heart, a big heart for actors and just for entertainers in the industry. So with that being said, I just want to open the floor to you. And before you tell us anything about, what you do, I just want to get to know who you are.
Oh,
Like what brought you to Hollywood and, that journey and then how it turned into what you do now.
that's interesting. Uh, so, hold on a minute. Let me have some Starbucks. Ryan, it's really good to see you.
Yes.
And some people stick out, that I work with when I'm coaching actors. There are some people that really stick out because they're just good people like you,
Hmm.
just have a big heart and you're authentic and your passion for your craft is genuine and your love of life and love of people is sincere. And people like you. And that's kind of what the people that are successful in this business, those are the qualities they have.
Yeah.
They're likable. There's somebody you would want to recommend to someone else. There's somebody you would want to work with because they're just good people and you like being around them. So you've always had that effect on me. And
Hmm.
I speak to tens and tens of thousands of actors and very, every once in a while someone very special comes through. So you're one of those people and I just wanted you to know that.
Thank you. Hey.
I started in Connecticut where I was born and raised in New York and Connecticut and I had dreams of being a singer when I was a kid, but I didn't have a showbiz family. I didn't come from a showbiz family. My parents are both educators. My dad has a PhD in philosophy and Black history and Russian history,
Oh,
and
wow.
is an author of 36 books. And my mom is a master's degree and she teaches special ed and she teaches at the college level. She taught at the elementary school level and then she taught teachers how to
Mm.
teach special ed. So I'm from a family of educators. All my cousins, all my family are educators. And I always thought I would be a teacher and a psychologist. I love helping people. I
Hmm.
always loved helping people. And I thought I was going to be a psychologist. That was my major. And I was going to sit in a room and like listen to people's issues and then guide them in the right direction. But for me, I found that incredibly boring, one-on-one, one person's problems. Um, Not that to say that's not helpful because I've done plenty of therapy myself, but I felt limited by that one-on-one. I just didn't, that wasn't for me.
Yeah.
And my real passion was to sing. So after college, I came out to California to sing and I knew no one and I knew nothing about this business whatsoever. I had no idea how it worked. I didn't know anybody. I drove out here with my backpack and like I got a studio apartment. We slept in our same apartment where like in one room where was the bed, the couch, the TV, the stove, and I worked during the day for a public relations office.
Hmm.
And I started to learn about how the business side worked. I didn't know there was a business side. I mean, all I did was want to make records. I didn't know there was a business to any of this. I just was like, I sing, I want to make records. What do I need to do?
Yeah.
But there's a whole business that I didn't understand. And I started to work for different companies and I started to learn the business side. And I was fascinated, so fascinated. And I've said this before, when I came to work for Morisano Associates, one of my clients was Andrea Evans was our client. And I had
Hmm.
just been watching her on One Life to Live or All My Children for like years.
Yeah.
And there I was in her house at her birthday party and she was dating Smokey Robinson on the side. He was married. And I
Uh-oh.
was like, oh, Hollywood. Okay. Everybody knew they were having an affair.
Hmm.
Everybody. And so I was I was hanging with the big people and I was
Yeah.
learning how the business works. And believe me, it's a business. And I was singing in a bank one day, and the producer, the bank teller, said, I heard you singing in line. Are you a singer? And I was like, yep. He's like, well, I work at Capitol Records. I'm a producer. And I was like, mm-hmm. He said, I want you to come on over to Capitol Records and sing a song and let us hear what you can do. And I'm working on a record. You might be the right fit for this.
Oh, wow.
And in Hollywood, everybody is something else. Everybody's a writer, everybody has a script, everybody is a director, an aspiring actor, a producer, and wanting to be something else. That's why they come to LA.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I will come to your studio. And I went to Vine Street and the Capitol Records building, and I was like, my dreams. Capitol Records building, that's so iconic on Hollywood and Vine. And across the street, they had a studio, and I went up to the studio, and they put me in the studio and said, hey, sing this. And I was like, okay. And I was so scared, Ryan. I had such terrible stage fright. But what I will say is I've been working for 10 years to overcome that stage fright.
Yeah.
So by the time I got to that moment, I was ready.
Mm-hmm.
But I had really been working on it for a long time. So I sang on this record, and the producer was like, where have you been? I was like, Connecticut. And he said, well, I want to send this to some other people and have them listen to it. And I said, yeah, go ahead. So I went, at that time I was working at an agency for the performing arts. And now I had moved to a talent agency, a really big talent agency. And I was assisting 2 agents at the same time. So I was learning everything I could about the business. And then I got a phone call that said, we sent your song to this producer in Europe, and he loved it and wants to know if he can fly you to Holland and Amsterdam, and you can sing vocals for the record. And I was like, yes. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm going. So I went to Holland. I'd never left the country in my life. I had to get a passport.
Mm-hmm.
I never had been I'd been to Mexico and Canada, but I'd never been to Europe.
Yeah.
And so I went over there, fell madly in love with the record producer that I worked with, and ended up staying and living with him and staying there. And one of the cool things when you live with a record producer and you're a singer, every opportunity comes to you.
Yeah.
Wendy, come sing on this. Wendy, do you want to sing vocals on this? Wendy, this needs lead vocals. Wendy, this needs backing vocals. Do you think you could write something for this artist? Would you be interested in producing this with me? So I lived with him for 8 years.
Mm-hmm. So
imagine the amazing opportunities that I got.
Yeah.
And this is a guy that works at the top levels of show business. I mean, he works with, how can I say this? He's worked with Lady Gaga. He's worked with Smokey Robinson. It's great to see him again after all those years. Mm-hmm. He works with Kelly Price and Ruben Stoddard and who was that little guy? Oh God, I hate to say it that I can't remember his name. The comedian. Kevin Hart.
Oh man.
He works with the big of the bigs, right? Yeah. The biggest stars. So I got to be in a lot of conversations and in a lot of rooms. And I've always been in love with this business my whole life, whether it's as a singer, whether it's as an agent, a manager, in production, recording, producing, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I had some personal success as a singer. I made quite a bit of money. I sang on over 65 CDs. I had a couple hit records. And after about 15 years of living my dream, I got tired of hearing myself sing. And that was a very interesting change.
Yeah.
For me, because I had dreamed of being a singer since I was a kid. And now that I finally was, I was like, I don't want to hear it anymore. So wow. I pivoted into agenting, being an agent, and I pivoted into being a manager.
Yeah.
And my passion for helping artists is like kind of trying to grab Wendy when she was young and be like, okay, honey, here's everything you need to know. I've done all of this work and research and experience, and I've developed all this confidence, and I've done all of this professional stuff. And now if you were just starting out, honey, here's what you need to do.
Yeah.
And that's kind of who I have become because of my really, I can't even say it enough, my sincere, deep, powerful love for entertainers.
Yeah.
I want every one of them to experience the life of being an artist, of singing on a stage that they've dreamed of acting in a performance on a show that they've wanted to, of working with the people they admire and respect, of living their life on a daily basis, sharing their talents and gifts.
Yeah.
And so
And
every single day I wake up and figure out, how can I help people do that more? How can I help actors? How can I help artists, singers, writers, producers? How can I help them get to the point where their life is an expression of their dream and their goal? And that's consumes me. And that's my passion. And that is what my purpose is in life, is to help other people experience their purpose.
yeah, the crazy thing is, like you said, I guess when you see someone who's genuine, it attracts you because, for me, just getting into the industry, like I haven't been in long. It hasn't even been 5 years yet. But when I first got in, I had all these ideas of what I would be doing. I said I was gonna build a tiny house and I'd spend like, half a year in New York and then I'll go to Atlanta and then I'll go to LA, not knowing that no, you need to like plant roots into a place. And it wasn't until, I met you and honestly, I don't know how I fell into talent managers for actors, but I'm like so glad that I did. And then I had that first one-on-one conference with you, and that just changed the trajectory of how I was looking at things and how I was behaving. So I like I said, I don't want to talk too much. This is definitely about you. So with that being said, pivoting into what you do now and your company, the Hollywood Winter Circle, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the Hollywood Winter Circle was not a plan.
Hmm.
I didn't plan on becoming the leading authority in the world on how to help actors. I didn't plan on starting talent managers for actors, and I didn't even plan on creating a YouTube channel. I didn't
Yeah.
plan on any of that. Um, it started out of necessity. As a manager, I only represented 20 clients.
Hmm.
And I was having some good success with my clients. They're working on a lot of different major shows. And I was taking actors who've never done anything in their life and getting them on American Horror Story, Animal Kingdom, Modern Family, Blackish, The Colony, and tons and tons of commercials and in films. And a lot of people wanted to work with me, but
Hmm.
you can't manage everybody.
Yeah.
And so I I was getting thousands and thousands of submissions because I'm very good at marketing. So every time one of my clients booked American Horror Story, I broadcast that on social media. It's like my
Yeah.
client just booked this, booked that, booked this, booked that. Kind of started a trend, and a lot of managers and agents do that now. But
Yeah.
I love publicity, and I love talking about the success of others, and I love promoting people. So people noticed that I was having a great deal of success with my clients, and they all wanted to work with me, and they would send me cover letters like, "Can you represent me? Can you represent me?" And I would read those and go, Jesus, you are so far off from reality. You are so far from what I would ever even consider representing. Like, just because you have no idea whatsoever what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And you have no idea how to market yourself. Actors, they would send me pictures of themselves in the shower, pictures, just resumes that were all misaligned. They didn't know how to sell. They would say things like, I really want to be an actor. But, agents and managers aren't looking for people who want to be an actor. They're looking for business people they can partner with who are actors.
Yeah.
And I just was like, oh my God, you have so much to learn. And so I kept an open PDF on my desktop, and I just started writing down, like what to do when you submit, do this, what to not do, don't do this. A lot of times my comments are just, don't do this. If you don't do this, this, and this, that's going to be better than what you're doing. So just don't do any of that. And over time, I started putting those in a book,
Yeah.
a PDF, and it was just like a 100-page PDF of like everything I'm trying to tell new actors. And my husband at the time came to me and said, "Why are you giving that away to everybody?" I said, "Because they need the information." And every time someone would send me an email that was completely wrong, I would just shoot them the book and say, "You know what, read this. And don't do anything else until you read this. It's going to put you in a much better position."
Yeah.
And my friends who were agents and managers, and my husband was like, "You should be selling that book. You shouldn't be just giving it to everybody."
Yeah.
And I couldn't bring myself to do that for a couple of years because I was like, I can't charge people for my knowledge. Uh, I got over that. But at first I could not. And so I started charging $21 for that book.
Yeah.
And then there were 7 books. And then at some point I was like, I got to start a YouTube channel. And I had no idea how to start a YouTube channel. I've never been on a YouTube channel. And one of my clients had a website and had a YouTube channel. And he said to me, just start. And I was like, okay. He goes, you're going to make mistakes along the way. You'll figure it out as you go. Just start. So I went online and I typed in how to be an actor, and Amy Jo Berman's videos came up. And she was just sitting in her house talking to the camera. I was like, I can do that.
Yeah.
I'm not any more technical than that.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to try to be. Say what?
No, I like Amy.
I do too. I love her.
I used to watch a lot of her videos.
Yeah, she's really cool, down to earth. She's from New York. She's powerful and strong like I am. I like her a lot. You know, we've been friends for a long time, and she's just really smart, and she helps actors know what they have to do in an audition and so much more. But I was like, if Amy can sit in her living room and talk to the camera, so can I.
Right.
So that's how I started my YouTube channel, and just basically out of sheer love for helping. Just passion, like, and then I was at 100,000 followers, 100,000 subscribers. And it's like, wow, this is amazing. But I can't answer all of these questions. Like, if you look under my YouTube videos, there's thousands and thousands of questions. And I'm like, I don't have the bandwidth, the time, the energy, and manage and answer these questions. So that's when TMFA was born. Talent Managers for Actors. I was like, look, I got to create a platform where actors' questions can be answered. So my friend Jeremy Gordon, who's a casting director, he had casting directors for actors. And I was like, you know what? We're going to create talent managers for actors. Because it's not about casting, what to do in the casting room. It's about a talent manager represents an actor's entire career. A talent manager is the visionary behind the whole goal of, like, okay, here's what I see you gonna do for the next 5 years to get us where we want to go. Here's who you need to train with. Here's who you need to shoot your headshots with. Here's your type. Here's who we're going to market you to. And I'm going to oversee your entire career and the plan of it, which is a much different conversation than you have with a casting director.
Right.
Because a casting director is like, this is the role I'm casting. Do you fit it? Yes or no? But a talent manager is, we need a plan of action to help you get where you're trying to go. So I put together talent managers for actors, and I called all my friends who were managers, and I was like, I need you to come in and help me answer questions from all these actors, because I can't keep up.
How many people are in that group now?
81,000.
81,000 actors. That is
81,000 actors. And when we started, you know, it was a couple thousand, and then it just grows and grows and grows. I mean, every week we have another 1,000 or whatever, you know, every 2 weeks, another 1,000 actors join us. And then I brought in agents, I brought in casting directors, and I brought in, really what was important to me was to bring in working actors.
Yes.
Because I really believe that if you want to be a working actor, the best people to tell you how to be a working actor are working actors.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, in this business, Ryan, a lot of people who are not on television are trying to tell people how to be on television. And also in this business, there's been a history of a lot of fraud, a lot of scamming, a lot of misleading by people hearing about the dream and being, oh, like, give me $5,000 and I'll show you how to be a star. And no, nothing comes out of that. And I was mortified by how many people exist in that space taking advantage of actors.
Yeah.
So creating a platform like Talent Managers for Actors created an honest, legitimate, transparent place where actors could get real information in real time, 24 hours a day about the business. And there was no such thing ever. So I'm really proud that I invented that, but I don't do that alone. We have, 20 moderators and 150 agents and managers and casting directors and we're all there volunteering time to
Yeah.
help actors.
I'll say this. Because of Talent Managers for Actors, I was a lot more vigilant in scams because I almost got caught up in one when I first started where someone up in Chicago said, we saw your profile, we loved it, we'd like to bring you out for this commercial. And then they're like, all you have to do is, the wardrobe will be yours. We're gonna pay you 10,000. You
Oh
just
yeah.
give us $1,000 back. And what I found out is what they do is after you get your $10,000 and you deposit that check, your $10,000, that check bounces, and then you're on the hook, and you just paid them $1,000 to go do this commercial.
Whoa, that's a very common scam, and I'm sad to hear that that's still going on.
Yeah,
And
it
a lot
was.
of people have. I'm glad you didn't get taken advantage. A lot of people have done that. They've cashed that check and they've sent that $1,000, and they're out the $1,000. And those
Yeah.
people can't be tracked down.
No, they just disappear.
Yeah, that's a nightmare. After after getting so many people involved with TMFA, having a place to go to ask any question you have ever, and have an agent or manager, casting director, working actor answer that question is not the same thing as sitting down with a manager and saying, okay, here's my goals. What do I need to do to get here?
Yes.
What am I doing wrong? What am I doing right? What has to happen? And I started doing the one-on-one consultations. And I did that for a couple of years, but I got very burned out on that conversation because after a couple of years and about 1,000 consultations, I've repeated myself 1,000 times.
Yeah.
And there came a time where I was like, if I have to say this one more time, I'm moving to Bali and I'm never talking about show business again.
Not Thailand?
Thailand. Tell me, I love my Thailand.
Ah man, I went to Thailand. I loved it, loved it, loved it. I'm not a fan of the Thai massage. I was like,
Really? What, because they stand on your back and walk all over you?
I said those little ladies are they're a little too strong for me. I was like, this is really hurting. I was like, okay, I'm gonna use my American massages and keep it there.
They have those bars above their head and they just stand on your back and everything. Oh my God. That's so good. Well, the cool thing about Thailand is, it's $6 for a foot massage, and I get them all day long every day.
Right. I think it was like $1. It's like $1.50 for pad thai. So it's like you can't go wrong with that.
How long were you there?
I think it was like 2.5 weeks, maybe 3.
Wow, that's a great amount of time.
Yeah, we started in Bangkok and then went up to what is that? It's a
Chiang
really
Mai.
popular city. Hmm?
Chiang Mai.
Yeah, Chiang Mai, and then we went down to Phuket after
Yeah.
that. So it was a really good trip.
Thailand is a beautiful place. It's called the Land of Smiles because everybody
Yes.
there is extremely happy, very friendly. I mean, I've spent months and months there. I was planning on moving there right before COVID, and then I ended up, being stuck in the US. In fact, I can't even find my passport right now. But I wanted to say that after I was doing like over 1,000 consultations,
Mhm.
that's when I said, listen, I need to put all this information in a course online. I don't know how to do it. I've never built an online course in my life. I have no idea how to do this, but I cannot repeat myself another time. So instead, I'm going to record it once.
Yeah.
And I'm going to write down everything I know. And then I'm going to record a video for every one of those things. And then I'm going to put that online and let the video speak for me. So I don't have to repeat myself. And I found somebody to partner with to build out our website, to build out our membership site, to build out our course. And we hired a coder.
Yeah.
And we created an amazing platform. We poured our heart and soul into it for a year. I got everything in there I wanted. And then we started selling that course. And we have had we're like 3,400 actors take it now.
Oh yeah, I'm one.
And thank God, because now it's not just about answering a question. It's about this. There's a strategy that has to go into play here. You need to understand the business and understand your role in the business and everything you need to do to put yourself in a position where people will respect you, take you seriously, and you package your talent in the right way where they'll actually pay attention to it.
Yeah.
And then you have to learn the right mindset, and you have to learn how to build relationships with industry people, because they're quick to say no. They're quick to say no and quick to move on to the next. So at first I thought the course was going to be like an online course called an evergreen course. You know, you just put it online and you go back to Thailand and do whatever you want to do. But I really love helping actors. And I thought, you know what? No, let me show up on Fridays and just answer all the questions they have and help actors through the course, and just be a part of the success. And that way I can talk to 100 actors at the same time. I'm not repeating myself one on one on one on one. Instead, it's like 100 people hear it at once, and then it's recorded so the thousands of people could listen to it. And then I was like, this is great. I love this. But you know, why don't we bring agents and managers in to talk too? And why don't we bring working actors in to talk? And you know what? They need to know about accounting. Let's bring an accountant. They need to know about lawyer. Let's bring a lawyer. They need to know mindset. They need to know finances. Let's bring everybody, all kinds of experts, you know?
Yeah.
And now we do that on Thursdays and Fridays. And it literally, I'm just showing up being of service.
Yeah.
And it is now the most recommended course in the world for actors by agents, managers, casting directors, working actors, celebrities, the people taking it. It is literally the place every actor should start. And that's exactly what all actors need.
Yeah.
You know, and so I'm really excited about the Winter Circle Academy. I mean, we have 13 employees now and like 17 teachers, and the business just keeps growing and growing. And as long as I'm excited about it, I'll keep doing it.
Yeah. Okay. So I got a question for you. It's a multifold question. So we'll start it as a manager. When you were a manager, if there was a young person who was interested in the business, but they're not interested in acting, they're more interested on the side of being an agent or a manager, what advice would you give that young person? Or not even, doesn't have to be a young person, but that's what this podcast is geared towards. But for anyone who's thinking about going down that route.
The agent or manager route?
Yes.
They have to go work in a manager's office and an agent's office and go see exactly what that's like.
Okay.
Because when I was becoming a manager, first of all, when I became an agent, I didn't just become an agent. I wasn't like, you know, I'm going to be an agent, so I'm going to be an agent. I went to work at Agency for the Performing Arts. And I went to work at Addis Wexler, which is a management company, and Beyond Talent, which was a management company, Bo Shoot, which is a manager. And I learned what managers and agents do from the inside.
Yeah.
And then I applied for a job working as an agent, and I got it. And I trained with the guy who owned the agency was Burnt Down Entertainment at the time, and it was a music agency because I was in the music business. So our clients were Denise Williams, the Four Tops, and like all these music artists. And they taught me how to be an agent, and it was doing booking for, you know, major events and things like that. It's a booking agent for stars in the music business. And I'm the point person, and I'm responsible for all of this, right? I had to be taught how to be an agent. I didn't know. Yeah. And then I went to work at Bo Shoot, and she is a huge manager, and I was her assistant. And in a management company that represents a lot of stars, you have the manager and you have the manager's assistant, and then the assistant has an assistant. So I was her assistant and I had an assistant, and it's massive teamwork to represent big stars, which we did. We represented 5 or 6 really big stars. Yeah. And I watched how Bo did things. You know, you're looking at a ton of contracts, paperwork, listening to conversations. You're listening to conversations with agents, with studios, negotiations. And it's like, okay, that's how all of this here works.
Yeah.
And every single day you're getting exposed to a new situation that you did not even have any idea how you would have handled that. And now you just learned a whole new thing. It's like, oh, so if you spend enough time in there, you'll start to understand. Then when I became a manager initially, I started with a friend of mine who is a manager today. And we had a company called Palace Wright Management. And I wanted to represent kids and she didn't. So eventually we went our separate ways, but we started that together.
Mm-hmm.
And I brought all the knowledge I had with me and all my contacts and all my casting contacts. And she brought, you know, she's a powerhouse, get shit done type of person. And that's when we were still sending breakdowns out in the mail and taking them to the casting office and delivering things by hand. There was no breakdown express and backstage, actors access. None of that stuff existed.
Yeah.
You know, we got the breakdowns but through the fax machine. And we had to package people's headshots and deliver them in the morning. It was a different time.
Yeah.
And at some point when I decided to go, and she and I figured out what we could on our own, but at some point I decided I wanted to represent a lot of mixed kids.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't want to represent kids at all. So I went and started WAW Entertainment, and she kept Palace Management. And she represents a lot of stars, a lot of music stars. And I wanted to represent brand new kids. That was my thing. It was like catch a little Wendy,
Yeah.
And when I did that, I didn't know, I knew what I knew, but there was a lot I didn't know. So I took managers out to dinner, and I, like, Carla Huff, I don't know how to do this, this, and that. Can I take you out to dinner? Sure. So she would sit down, I'd pick her out to dinner, I'd pick her brain, and I would learn. Jack Turnbull was a dear friend of mine. He was a manager for many years. I would call him every day. Jack, I don't know how to do this. How do I do this? Here, there's a contract that just came in. I understand this, but I don't understand that. How should I do that? Another friend of mine, Sandy Bresler, is Jack Nicholson's agent. And I would call him and I'd be like, Jack, you're a peach. Sandy, you're a peach. I just need a little bit of, how do I do this? And so Sandy he would pick up the phone every time I had a question.
Mm-hmm.
And that's amazing, Jack Nicholson's agent picking up the phone. But some people want to help others.
Yeah.
And so if I didn't have Jack Turnbull, and Amy Linden was great too. Amy Linden was a manager for many years. I could call her and I could say, how do I do this? Regina at Dream Talent, I would ask. Darcy Price was a manager that I would ask. And I had a team of agents and managers around me. Robin Nassif, who is actually going to be in my winner circle in about 20 minutes. Robin was the head of casting at ABC Comedy for 15 years. Mm-hmm. And she and I are almost like we're Bobsy twins. I would ask her everything. I would work from her house. And I would ask her, how do I do this? How do I do that? And she loves explaining the business. I learned so much from her. I think the majority of the information that I learned in this business comes from Robin Nassif, because she's been the head of vice president of casting at ABC, doesn't get higher.
Yeah.
And she oversaw 250 pilots, and she's now also an agent. And she knows her husband was the owner of a huge talent agency that represented a ton of stars, and she worked in that agency. And there's no question she can't answer.
Yeah.
And I think being extremely curious like I am, I never can get enough. I read every backstage article, every book casting directors wrote. I was reading Lisa London's book before I knew Lisa London, Kathy Rankin's book before I knew her. Some days I look at my life and I go, I know these people. Like I literally watch these people on TV and I'm on the phone with them today. And I'm literally watching them on TV and they're in my life. But that takes years of building relationships.
Yeah.
And when I became a manager, I started bringing my clients, the ones that Robin signed 7 of my actors. And I would sit with her while she would submit and pitch. And I'd listen to how she submits and pitches. And I would watch what she writes in the notes. And I would watch how she closes the contracts. And since 7 of my clients were with her and I was sitting right there, I saw the work ethic it takes to be a great agent. And I share that work ethic. I think she's as addicted to work as I am.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody becomes great without the success, the support, and guidance of other people. I sure haven't. And I tell actors that all the time. It's like, if you want to be successful in this business, you're going to need a strong team around you of people who know what you don't know. And there will be things you don't even know you don't know, a lot of them.
Yeah.
and they will know. And don't, and just take it one day at a time. And I think if someone's really thirsty, like I remember trying to be an agent years ago, a manager years ago, before I had all that experience. I had a couple friends that were actors, and I thought I was going to represent them and somehow help them, but I had no idea how to do that. So that went to the wayside. You know, I had like 7 actors and I was trying to help them the best I could. And then finally I decided to start a management company. But until I really got mentorship from other managers, how could you know? And now today, you know, managers call me all the time. We have a private chat. I created this private chat on Facebook. There's 150 managers in there. It's never been created before. Mm-hmm. And they can answer questions for each other. They can help the new manager and mentor them. They can share clients. They can steer people away from clients. They can pitch clients to each other and work together as a team with people. They're talking all kinds of topics in here. I think that nobody can do this alone. I would tell anybody who wants to do anything, get mentors.
Yeah.
There's no point in learning things on your own that someone else has already spent 10 years figuring out and mastering.
Yeah.
You know, one of the big issues that I've had, because I'm extremely passionate about helping actors. I mean, I eat it. It's like my heart and soul. It's my whole life. And when I'm doing TMFA, when I see people say things that are like, and they're not taking direction, I'm like, what the fuck? You know? So I started seeing this life coach. Her name is Sarah McAtee. Uh-huh. And I'm like, okay, Sarah, how do I not get angry with these people? And she said, well, let's figure out why you're getting angry. Because I don't want to hear excuses. Mm-hmm. If you want to be an actor and someone tells you what it is you need to do, go fucking do it.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear excuses. I don't want to hear excuses. Either you want it or you don't. And she said, but you don't need to get angry about that. So why are you getting angry? And I burst into tears. I cried for about 20 minutes. And I had realized that I was taking it so personally. I so want their success so much, but I have to realize that not everybody is going to do what it takes.
Yeah. And
it's okay if I let that happen. And I was like, I can't let that happen. Don't you understand how important it is? She's like, you cannot be responsible for how other people live their lives.
Yeah.
You can give them the guidance and information with love, like you mostly do, and let go of the results. I was like, let go of the results? Then who's going to make sure they do it? She goes, them.
They are.
I was like, oh my God. So I called my friend Bonnie Gillespie and I said, Bonnie, you've been doing this for so many years. How do you not get angry with people when they don't follow your direction? She said, Wendy, I've had years to master that. And I mastered that quite some time ago because she's been doing this 25 years. Mm-hmm. And I've been doing this for 10. And she said, if I speak to 1,000 actors and one actor gets it, that's good enough. Mm-hmm. I was like, no, I can't do that. I can speak to 1,000, but 500 have to get it. Mm. But I understand what she's saying, and so everything is evolution. Everything is becoming the better version of yourself. You just get stronger and more knowledgeable and more powerful every day.
Yeah.
My intention is to deliver this information with as much love as I can and not be frustrated doing it, and to do it with love and recognize that this journey is a tough one and there are only certain people that will rise to meet it.
Yeah. And I love that you have you say things with love, but you don't sugarcoat it. Mm. And whenever I tell anyone, I'm like, hey, you need to get in talent managers for actors. You need to get the Hollywood Winner Circle. But I'm going to tell you this, leave your feelings at the door. because I said this business they don't care about your feelings. So, you have to get to that mindset, leave your feelings at the door, leave your ego at the door, come in here ready to learn.
Yeah.
That's what I tell everyone about, what you have to offer is just, it's phenomenal.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So I got another question for you. This will be the last one, because I know you got to run. And it's along the same lines. So you were a manager and you had that pivot. What would you tell someone about, they've got to a place where they're like, I'm not happy with where I am, or
Mhm.
I've done enough. Like you said, you got tired of hearing yourself
Yeah.
sing. It's not like you just started hating singing, but it was just like, I've done enough. I've done what I came to do in this area,
Mhm.
and I want to pivot. What would you tell
I,
that person?
I think you ask great questions, and I think that's an important question. In fact, Grey's Anatomy, I'm binge watching Grey's Anatomy for those who are not, I've never seen it until just like I started 2 months ago, and I'm on season 11.
Mhm.
Um, and that was one of the conversations Christina had yesterday, or am I in season 10? Yesterday. Who are you? And are you living the life you really want to live? Was like the episode.
Mhm.
And I am. I would say that you have to be honest, very, very brutally honest with yourself about who you are and what you want.
Yeah.
I am a firm believer that life is right now, in this moment, and no amount of life is promised in the next moment. So I have always been in extreme driven focus to become all I can be in the time that I have between birth and death. All I can be.
Yeah.
And I don't believe any of that should be wasted. So I don't believe in working 10 years in a job you hate with people you don't want to work with for money you don't want to work for, doing something you don't want to do.
Yeah.
I don't believe in that. I would rather sleep in my car than do that. And I don't want to be unhappy on a daily basis. I'm
Yeah.
not choosing that. I don't choose that. So I've always been the kind of person that's like honest about what I want and willing to do what I have to do to get it, and not settle for other life choices that are in opposite direction of what I really want to do. Because I believe that I have one life in
Mhm.
this carnation. Even if there are more lives, I won't want to be this person. I won't have these goals and these aspirations and have this personality. So in this body at this time, and it's who I am, this is it. And so I'm not squandering that for anybody or anything. I'm not squandering that because society wants people to be a certain way. I'm not squandering that because family or friends think you should do this or that. I don't care. I think about it like I look into my own heart and I say, what's the next right step for me? And I
Mm.
have a higher power. I have a God, which I believe is this beautiful, intelligent spirit in the universe that is energy and that is clearly more knowledgeable than I am, and is the higher part of myself. So we have the physical part, we have the conscious part, the subconscious part, and the soul. And for me, in my opinion, the soul is the part that's connected to God. And if I just listen to that energy, the next right step will become known to me. I'll become aware, and I'm not afraid to take it.
Yeah.
So I think that anybody should go within and follow their own gut and their own instinct and their own voice, and learn to trust that and know that that's the only guidance they really ever need.
Mhm.
And I think that people should pivot away from anything that's making them unhappy, and that this life should be about and can be about joy, um, expressing whatever talents God gave you,
Mhm.
and in my opinion, helping as many people along the way as you possibly can, and living it in complete gratitude for every second, because every second is an incredible gift. Like I think about it every day. I can breathe, I can see, can smell, I can taste, I can feel, I'm alive. It's a gift.
It's a gift.
And there's a thing I have on my wall that says, what I am is God's gift to me. What I become is my gift to God.
Ooh, I love that.
What I am is God's gift to me. And what I become is my gift to God.
Mm.
And I have another thing on there that says, be patient. God isn't finished with me yet.
Yes.
Because he ain't. But I just believe that, you got to get honest and you have to tune out the negative voices. And you also have to get real honest about the way you talk to yourself, because people can be their own worst enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you think, I think I'm going to quit my job, or I'm going to go pivot here, go live there, go do this. And some part of you that is fear-based, not God-based, because I believe that if you're in love and God, you cannot be in fear at the same time. Yeah. If you are in fear, you are not in faith. You're not in God. So if you are finding yourself making decisions from fear, then you are not making decisions from your highest self or from faith or from the knowledge that it's all going to work out.
Yeah.
So I think people have to get awake to who they are, what they want, and then make decisions that are in line with making that happen. And that takes a certain amount of choosing to be conscious. Mm-hmm. Instead of going through life unconscious and I don't know why I do anything. And I just, my husband said I can't do it, or my dad said I shouldn't, or my friend said don't, or I don't want to leave my job, or, all these, like, this is the life you have. There's no other time. And when you watch people around you, like my friend Susan, it's terrible. She just died. She was diagnosed and 6 weeks later dead.
Oh, wow.
And I think people should not be afraid of death or worry about it, but be aware of it and realize that your life is a gift. It's short. And in that time, you should do every damn thing you want to do, as long as you're not harming and killing other people.
Right.
Do everything you want to do and live it to the fullest while you can.
Awesome. You have left us with so many gems, and I really appreciate it. So in the description, there will be Wendy's website. In the description, there will be the link to Facebook's Talent Managers for Actors, the link, the Hollywood Winter Circle. You have to get in order to get in that group, you have to actually get the course, because I'm in that group and I got the course. So I'll have all the links for everything that Wendy has to offer in the descriptions. Wendy, thank you so much. Auntie, thank you so much for your words of wisdom. And like I say in every episode, there are hundreds of dreams that are in the graveyard. Don't let yours be there. Live outside the box. Lockbox, baby. Thank you so much.